If you've heard that the UCAT Situational Judgement section is just about common sense, I'm here to tell you that that's only half true. Because yes, you might already have really good instincts, but the UCAT is not trying to test whether you're a good person or not. It's testing whether you'd be able to be a great healthcare professional, and sometimes those can be two completely different things. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I approach the situational judgment section, what mistakes I would retrospectively stop myself from making, and what I knew sooner. My number one piece of advice is to read the GMC's Good Medical Practice Handbook. And I know you've heard this everywhere before talking about the situational judgment section, but trust me when I say that the UCAT doesn't just pull scenarios out of thin air. The official questions are actually based on professional scenarios that doctors are expected to follow. So things like respecting patient confidentiality, acting honestly, speaking up when safety of a patient or a colleague is at risk, treating others respectfully, or even making sure you're putting patients first. The framework for all of these ideas can be found in the Good Medical Practice Handbook. When you read through this document, just keep in mind that the information that you're reading over is not a waste of time. It is actually a very solid framework that will help you better understand the reasoning behind the question answers when you start doing your UCAT practice. My second tip is to practice, and then practice some more. Because unlike the quantitative reasoning section or decision making, there are only so many ethical situations that can appear. And if you repeat enough questions, you will start to actually see patterns in the scenarios that come up. So you might start seeing things like patients being rude, or colleagues arriving late, or dealing with some kind of breach of confidentiality in the workplace. And even though the wording might be different, the principle underlying everything will be the same. So the more situational judgment questions you do, the more you'll start recognizing these patterns, and you'll be able to answer these questions faster as a result. If you're wondering where you should practice, then please use the official UCAT question bank as much as you can. If there's anything I would have done differently studying for the UCAT, it would have been using the official questions because they are the closest representation to what you'll actually see on your exam. Just everything from the wording to the style of the scenarios, it was most similar to what I actually saw on test day. And don't get me wrong, because the third-party resources can still be incredibly useful, especially at the beginning when you're just trying to understand how to answer these questions. But if there was one thing I could recommend, or one thing that I would have done differently in my own studying, it would have been to use the official question bank as much as possible. This next tip made a surprisingly big difference for me, and it is not just to know the answer choices, but it is to understand exactly what they mean. So for example, if you see an answer choice of very appropriate, it does not just mean that it's a pretty good thing to do in that scenario. It means that it is one of the best possible decisions that you can make if you were handed a situation like that. Appropriate but not ideal means that the action helps, but there was probably a better decision that could have been made. Inappropriate but not awful usually means that the answer was not the best choice, but at the same time it's not causing major harm. And very inappropriate is usually reserved for the questions where a decision is genuinely unacceptable, like being disrespectful to a patient or colleague, or engaging in an action that can put others at risk. The same kind of nuances go for the importance questions. So something can be a good choice, but at the same time not necessarily the best one you can make. And once you start to understand these distinctions, you'll be able to stop over-selecting the most extreme options. And that's something that I think a lot of students, including me, initially do when they start studying in the section. Another thing that I found incredibly helpful was starting to understand and recognize common patterns outside of just what questions you might be faced with. So for example, if a patient is rude to you, you would not fight back or talk back to them. You would act calm and professional. Or if a colleague was repeatedly arriving late to their shift, then you probably wouldn't immediately escalate this to a senior colleague. You would try to deal with it at a more localized level first. So one thing to take away from here is that the response should be proportional to the concern in question. So you start by addressing issues respectfully if possible, and then only escalate proportionally to the severity of the issue. And as you go through the questions and the GMC Good Medical Practice Handbook, you'll see a lot of very clear action patterns that show up no matter what the scenario is, that you can implement to help you find the correct answer faster. My next tip is probably one of the biggest mindset shifts you can make. You cannot answer these questions based on what you would do in this scenario. You need to put yourself into the shoes of a very safe, professional healthcare worker and think through their eyes if you were in that situation, what you would do. So for example, in real life, if your friend is keeping a secret that could potentially harm a patient, you might choose to keep that secret for them because they're your friend. But if you were a healthcare professional and this could violate patient safety or confidentiality, it would be your duty, your obligation to go and tell somebody about it, even though it's your friend. Because when you're putting yourself in the eyes of a healthcare professional, your professional responsibilities have to come before any personal commitments you might have. Just make sure when you're going through these questions, shift your mindset from what you would do to what you think a properly trained and educated and professional doctor would do instead. And finally, my last strategy in this section is to trust your gut. And I know this might sound a little ironic after everything I've already gone through, but sometimes when you're going through the questions on the exam, your instinct after all the preparation you've been through can be surprisingly accurate. Many of my mistakes actually happened when I started to overthink my answers, because I would used to try to convince myself that there's some kind of hidden trick when there really wasn't any. So of course, just make sure to study as much as you can, but when it really comes down to it on the exam, don't try to talk yourself out of an answer choice, because sometimes your gut is actually really good at leading you in the right direction if you've had enough exposure to these problems already. And I understand that there are definitely some questions in the situational judgment section where the UCAT tries to throw you a curveball, but they're not trying to trick you in every single question. So these were all my biggest pieces of advice and strategies for the UCAT situational judgment section. And just for a little recap, make sure to read the GMC guidance, understand what all of the question types mean exactly, practice, and practice some more, recognize common ethical patterns, think what a professional would do in these scenarios, and finally, when you actually make it to the test day, just trust your gut. I would say the situational judgment section was the hardest for me to revise for, so I spent a lot more time working hard on this section to reflect, and I hope you learned something from this video as a result of it. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe, and share with your friends that might also be studying for the UCAT, and if there's some kind of concept or part of this test that you want me to make a video on as well, just let me know in the comments. Best of luck with your UCAT, and I genuinely believe that you got this.